The issue of moon landing is very straightforward, in fact. Assume both sides are absolutely credible in what they're saying, both those that say we went and those that say we didn't. Then there's a technology which we had, and either we've lost or we've deliberately kept secret because it was too dangerous to be known. In other words, for instance, we might have gone to the moon using a technology that also means there's a technology available that could easily destroy the planet if people knew about it. So yes, we went to the moon, and yes, it's no longer available to us. Whether we've actually destroyed it because it's too dangerous, or whether it's because we're keeping quiet about it. Then both sides are being reasonable. They say, look, we've got a reason. Oh, well, actually, we had a way around it. It meant we could get there. It meant we could go through the Van Allen belts without, killing all the crews, or so obviously damaging their health that it's what an irresponsible thing to do, Could be that we did have a technology, and perhaps still do have, but we're keeping it down to wraps as to how you could escape Earth's orbit with such small amount of fuel. That we did have a technology for advanced batteries that could manage the air conditioning system for several days at a time in extremely cold space temperatures to keep the astronauts alive. And that we did have a technology that protected against microparticles penetrating the astronauts while they're on the moon, where there's no not enough protective atmosphere for life to be at risk in such a way. So that would explain it. We had a technology which we couldn't admit to. It allowed us to go to the moon, and so on and so forth. I mean, a bizarre one, an utterly bizarre one could be we got help from extraterrestrial beings to accomplish this. And we're not doing it again, and we're not letting on that they're out there. Sounds a tall story, doesn't it? But without such a story, well, I don't mean that one, but without the notion that we had a technology that is no longer being made available, or has been made unavailable completely, without that sort of notion, then, as far as we know, it's a fact that you can't get through the Van Allen belts with our present technology. You can't get off the planet far enough to get to the moon with our present rocket technology and putting enormous amounts of fuel in space to do it. You can't walk around freely on the planet being bombarded by micrometeorites that go straight through you. The little tricky thing with the Titanic or the Olympia that still bugs me is why on earth you would carpet a ballroom, a brand new ballroom floor. How strange. And the one thing that bugs me about the moon landing is the lack of information about how it was possible. Those two things stay with me. I'm a conspiracy theorist in that they stay with me. But I'm not a believer in the sense that I feel I know. Is that strange, Marshall? I thought you were a believer. Oh, yes, yes, in God being my Heavenly Father. I can handle that. It's very hard to handle that it wasn't the Titanic that was sunk and that we didn't go to the moon. And if either of them were the case, my goodness, you've got to hand it to them to pull off such a stunt, haven't you? What an achievement, my goodness. Fancy doing that. Almost be worth it, wouldn't it? Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Oh, for goodness sake, Marshall, it wouldn't be worth it, not with the Titanic, would it? I mean, the number of people that died, it's terrible. Yeah. There's another thing that's still with me with the moon landing, and that is that the Russians didn't know about it, or did know about it and came in on the story. That's a bit hard to believe too, isn't it? So, jury's still out. And in that sense, I'm a conspiracy theorist. But that I know the answer, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I don't know the answer. That's why it's still bugging me. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. No, but it just occurs the obvious that, well, if you really did manage the technology to do it, there's no way you'd want to let the rest of the world know what it is, only that you've done it. Because you're still working on the technology, and yes, it does have a defensive inference, you know. I mean, advanced technology is very important in squabbles between countries, isn't it? You see, we tend to expect the worst of people, even our own. Isn't that terrible? We are so negative. Perhaps the government's just on our side, doing what it understands to be the safest, best policy. How lovely. I like that. Thank you, Heavenly Dad. Perhaps it can be said cynically, oh, look, Marshall, man is not that saintly. Ah, you take a negative, yeah. What happens if you trust that he is that saintly? Because he is a child of God. And suddenly he'll do things that are out of your book. Wow, why did he do that? This is the hero, isn't it? He does what nobody would have thought he'd have had the courage to do. And sometimes, of course, even loses his life because of it. You see, we are children of God. We may be chaotic. We're a ghastly mix of good and bad. But the good is infinite. It's of God. And it wins. God always wins. By definition. He's all powerful. He's God. He could close the show yesterday if he so chose. Love you, Heavenly Dad. Thank you, Dad.